Oh, and I wanted to talk about Dark Tide quickly, like because the full game released, and it's a real disappointment. It's a real disappointment. The beta was about.
It?
Oh, I love the game, but
it's not
and
a
I
full
love
game
playing
yet.
the game. But it's an early access game that's been sold. They prioritized an in-game store over keeping their promises to have 70 weapons on release and along with the classes. There's bugs that ruin certain perks and classes and traits and such that haven't been tended to. The optimization is awful. It crashes a ton for a lot of people. Obviously, I've fixed those issues with a very expensive PC, but not everybody can do that. And worst of all, this is the scummiest thing. Like they are, maybe it's changed since this afternoon, but they promised it was going to be a day one release on the what's the thing Xbox has where you get the game pass, the game pass or whatever. Okay. But it's not on there, and that's what they're referring to as crossplay. By the way, if you bought the thing on the Game Pass on PC, because this game is not on Xbox, and if they ever get to run on the Xbox, I'll be surprised. There's so many Xbox guys on their subreddit being like, "Hey, I can't find it on the Game Pass. Where's it at, guys? Do you have to like go through a folder?" And they're like, "Oh, you poor little man. Were you thinking today was the day that you would be able to play the game with us?" No. No, they think
shitty.
They say someday, soon, you'll be able to play with us. And
isn't the Xbox like the most this new Xbox, like the most powerful console ever by a lot?
Yeah, the
and
Xbox
it can't handle it.
Well, I don't know if it can't handle it or if they just haven't gotten around to getting that all sorted. But they promised that it would be like right after the PC version. That's another like lie if it's not on there. But it not being on the pass for PC users is nonsense. And they said that for some reason, if you bought the game on Game Pass, utilizing that being able to get it for free, that's cross-platform play. They're saying to play with Steam PC players, even though you're both on PC. And that doesn't work, they're saying. I've read that doesn't work, that the PC players, the Steam players can't play with, or the PC players on Steam can't play with the ones who bought it on Game Pass, which is a huge if that's true. And it's the whole thing's a bit disappointing that
you think they should have pushed it back more because it's still clearly not done?
The worst part, I think, is that they've got that monetization's just right in there, right off the bat, working perfectly. Like it's like, oh, you can go right over here right away, and you can like spend your real money and buy coins. And of course, the coins aren't spent in round numbers, so you always have to buy more because you've got leftover coins. Meanwhile, they don't have the full features in the game, like the crafting. You can't craft weapons still. They don't have their weapon crafting in. There's still no leaderboard. Like it's real annoying.
I bought the expensive version of the game, which was only $60, I think, but it came with 3,000 coins. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna come into this game rich. 3,000 coins that's like I suck, and I can earn that many coins in 40 minutes, maybe. Go ahead, Kyle. Am I wrong? Do I have this off?
So there's like 4 kinds of currency in the game. So you could be off or on at the same time, but I didn't pay too much attention to it. I had a lot of like the coin you get from missions that you use to buy weapons in that store. I had a lot of that coin. So while they did give me a boost of it that seemed significant, I didn't really notice how much. I think the coins that you might get are the coins you spend in that cosmetic store that are like comparable to real money, that you have to buy them with real money. I think that's what.
So there's
those
2 types of coins.
That's like $20. I think it's like a $10 or $20 value of that if it's 3,000 coins in that store, 15 maybe.
Yeah,
but you can go in there and you can buy like some really cool gear. The stuff that you earn to wear by doing hard things in the game pales in comparison to what $15 will get you. Yeah. I've got a golden skull mask. My character's got huge shoulder pads with scrolls rolling off of her everywhere. Cool. Yeah, it's awesome. So no, I love
the
game.
low price of $15.
Yeah, I love the game, and it's like I've been psyched about it forever. And it's like, oh, it doesn't run well. Well, we'll need a new PC. But not if I can.
Kyle's about $4,100 into this game so far.
Yeah,
And there's no leaderboard, and some of the maps don't work apparently. Like
they added 3 maps. The
sucked.
difference between here's the thing: the difference between the beta, like the early access beta, and the full release is 3 maps, and I don't remember what else.
That's not a good sign.
No,
And all those
it's
seemingly
frustrating.
little things they could have fixed aren't fixed. Really disappointing.
Yeah,
Very disappointing after
Yeah.
being delayed like almost a year to just not get it together in time for release.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know if you blame the developers or it's really frustrating when they've got like their mouthpiece, who's like their representative, who's just outright lying for them. His job must suck because they're hitting him with like screenshots. They're like, dude, you said this. And now it's that. Like,
Is he getting like 402'd?
Yeah, for sure.
I never
So,
402. Was that a 420 reference?
No, he was the original community manager, wasn't he? For Call of Duty?
Yeah. But
Yeah,
how do
but
you
you're
think he
asking what
chose
the
his name?
significance of 402 is. I always assumed
I thought it was an area code.
like an LA area code or something like that. That maybe meant something to other people, but not to me.
Yeah, he basically got roasted. I am like the Call of Duty community managers would be able to weather the Vermintide storm like it was, a drizzle. I would imagine, just based on how big the games were. Those guys got harassed so bad, the Call of Duty guys. And they never, what I remember with like JD 2020 and 402 is they would like not do the thing that like some community managers do now, which is like, sorry, everyone, this is the situation. We apologize for the delay. And that's all we can say for now. Back then, they'd be like responding to individuals like, I know you're upset. I'm sorry about this. And they're like, so you do admit there's a problem. Like doing that kind of like, oh,
Then what are you apologizing for?
yeah, if
Like-
you didn't do anything wrong, don't apologize.
We got him, boys.
We thought we made him think apologizing was a good faith measure. No, it was an admission of guilt. now he knows we hate him.
Yeah,
It was so toxic.
So all of that stuff I said is very disappointing. I'm sure in time some of it will be addressed, but I would hold off on buying it if you don't have like a cutting edge PC, or you care about any of that stuff I mentioned that's just not in the game. It's still an early access game, and I'm okay with that, but I doubt you shouldn't be.
Yeah, needing a cutting edge PC to even play it marginally is bullshit. That's ridiculous.
I don't know why it's so far behind schedule because they delayed it by a year. I've been on software projects and I swear half of it gets written in the last month. And I think that's what happened. They're like, oh, it's not fucking done. All right, you have 12 more months. I'm hearing 11 months vacation.
Yeah.
And another month to get it done.
Oh, let me give them credit for one thing though. Everyone, a big complaint from the beta players early on, the earliest versions of the beta, was that the weapons didn't have like very detailed statistics for them. They just had this generic number assigned to them along with their rarity. They just had a number that's 250, 327. Nobody knew what that fucking meant. And they were like, well, that number is being divvied up into those yellow bars. Those yellow bars need numbers on them, and I need to know exactly what each one of those bars represent. And they're like, why? It's like, dude, do you like the mod that I used to play on Vermintide showed me such nitty gritty stuff down to decimal points, repeating. And so like they did that. So now when you inspect a weapon, it breaks down like how much damage it does to every enemy in the game on the various difficulties, all of its weapon combos, what it's good at, how those numbers are being integrated into various traits of that weapon, and then explaining what those traits are. Imagine that. They did all of that in the last month or two. But I can see little things where like there's an ability in the game where it's like, hey, would you like a second charge of your power? It's like, yeah, I would. It's clear that initially it was 3 charges because the visual for that, the little, whatever you call it, has 3 little dots instead of 2. And like they just haven't gone back to fix that because either they don't know or they're working so hard that they haven't gotten to it. I don't fucking know. It's frustrating though.
Probably the people that can fix the code and the people that can fix the artwork are different people.
I would think so. So like, what's the artwork guy doing today,
Yeah.
right
this.
now. I mean, he's in Oslo right now, asleep. But like when he wakes up in a few hours, what's he gonna fucking do?
Not add a scorecard, not add a
Make a map.
not make a map. Certainly no jungle maps, apparently.
Any pussy who like gets bit butthurt over a goddamn scoreboard and doesn't see that as motivation to improve yourself shouldn't be playing a goddamn video game. Like you need a fantasy world.
Yeah.
Like the fantasy world that the rest of us normies go to was too fucking hard for you. So you need a fantasy inside of that fantasy world where like the made up numbers don't even matter.
Every time you get a kill, there's like a VO that's like, wow. Like, oh, nice. Great. You're the best.
This game is appealing to me. I want compliments with every kill.
Call of affirmations over here.
Call of affirmations.
And the game is too hard. I want it to be sort of a field where I just take down flowers.
Yeah, I want the game to be brutally difficult if I want it to be, and I want it to make me feel bad because I am bad, and then I want
with
to
every
try
kill
hard
I
and
should
improve.
get compliments and rainbows sprouting from the dead flower.
It'll work. People won't like that though. People want brutality. They want to see how many specials they killed. We don't have to talk about the scorecard yet because we've all gone off on the scorecard
for so many times.
It's not just this game, and it's not just score. It's like all games. They did. I think Battlefield 2042 did something similar where they like did something funky to the scoreboard to appease, the people who play a 45-minute game of Battlefield and don't actually get anything done.
How do you play a whole game? I mean, that's how I would play Battlefield. Like I played once at a friend's house, like whatever one came out in like 2006, and it was just first thing I noticed is the dude breathes like I would breathe when I was running. This guy must have skipped cardio and then like futzed his way through boot camp because the guy used to go and you could hear the clunk, and I remember the movement of the guy running, and all I did was just like run up to a building and get blown up by an IED and then teleport 300 yards away and then huff and puff to my next death. That game sucks. Never got into Battlefield.
It's better if you play
It's
with
not
friends.
because I was bad.
No, there must be another explanation.
It's because I'm too good for it, and
That's exactly
something. Yeah,
so many games I've been too.
it's
good
because
for.
my talents are better utilized elsewhere. That's why.
Sometimes I make notes and I don't understand what they mean.
I used to do that in my phone all the time. I'd think of something I thought was funny and I was like really baked, and I'd look at it the next day and be like, I don't know, this probably meant something. It probably led to something funny, but I don't know what the hell it means now.
Oh, did you watch that Ogren Story video I sent you?
I did. I sent you the response to it. Where he's like, "Mama don't lie. She can't lie."
Man, that
Miss Leash, let me talk to her.
That so
No
what we're
one
talking
else can
about.
talk to her that way.
What we're referencing here is Mitty sent me this video like as soon as it came out, and it's called An Ogren Story. Ogren is spelled Ogryn. An Ogren is one of those things from Warhammer 40k lore. He's a slow-witted giant, essentially, and it's him from his point of view telling you a story, the story of his life. And it's very much like Forrest Gump telling a story because he's talking about doing amazing things and traveling the galaxy, but from his limited point of view. And it's very sweet and it is very sad. And I cried. I was sitting here. I swear to God, there's like tears rolling off my. Those are like little painted miniatures of them. Yeah, there's like tears rolling. But find the Ogren Story like thumbnail. That'd be better. Like just search the Ogren Story on YouTube and show the thumbnail. But like I was sitting here listening to that goddamn story, and there were tears rolling off my nose, and I'm just like, so fucking sad, man. I had to go blow my nose, and like come back, and be like, oh, God, that's the saddest thing I've seen. And then I was like scrolling through Reddit today, and I saw like it was a thing. Yeah, I know it's of his back. It's great. And I saw a thing, and it was someone reacting to that. They were like, when I see that there's a video called the Ogren Story, and it's like a happy face, and then after I watch it, and it's just like sad, like want to die face. It really made me. It
is very sweet. It's a good world builder, like to kind of make you understand like kind of their mental capacity a little bit and how they as characters in this world think about things. So
yeah,
I thought it was genuinely like when you said like, oh, it made me sad, I cried. I'm like, okay, well, like Kyle like gets pretty emotional with media sometimes. Like this probably won't make me that sad. No, genuinely, I was unbelievably like sad watching it. Like, oh, I'm sad for a made up race of made up characters in a made up story right now. Like, but it was delivered so well. Like, I can't do the voice, but like, the voice really a fucking idiot.
That guy. The same guy does all the voices on that channel, and they're all very good. Like he's got a really good, like, I don't know, creepy narrator voice or whatever. Or if he wants to be a monster dragon telling you a story, he's good at that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I like the little
good.
mother thing where he's like, "Mama told me that someone being bullied, it's an ogre's job to stop them, and that's true because Mama can't lie." And it's like their like infantile understanding of like an authority figure of mamas can't lie. Like that has to be true.
Yeah.
Like, it was really good.
No, from the beginning, like the references like speak to me a lot because I like that lore. And he's like, she got in a fight with some Krieg boys. When I got there, she was down and they was all kicking her. Well, I went to work on them. Had to hit one of them with another. Oh, that scared them good. And it's like, and like after that, I didn't have to call her mom or sir. She said I could call her Miss Elise. Charlie didn't like that. He said, why is that dummy get to call you Miss Elise and I gotta call you mom? She said, when you carry me on your shoulders for a mile and start a war, you can call me Miss Elise too. It's just like, oh man, the whole time I'm just like cheering for this retarded giant. Fucking made up. I'm about to get emotional over his goddamn made up ass now. It's fucking sweet though. I liked it. I like those videos.
It's a very good video. It's like 8 minutes long, 9 minutes long. Yeah.
9:42 if memory serves. I like that Warhammer lore stuff, and it's all like that. It's all kind of sad and depressing, and people living like, I don't know, worthless lives and kind of dying for one another because I don't know. There's the Krieg thing that he's referencing. That's a planet that fought a civil war for 500 years. There were loyalists there, and then there were some people who wanted to stick with the emperor, keep worshiping him as a god, and then the other half was like, no way, we're not going to be part of this empire anymore. And the people that were the emperor nuked the whole planet and started a civil war. And they fought the civil war for 500 years until the ones who wanted to side with the emperor had prevailed, and they send a message back home to Earth. It's been 500 years. They've been written off like they don't exist anymore. And they're like, Krieg reporting for duty. How many divisions would you like? And they're like, what do you mean? How many do you have? And they're like, we have 20 divisions ready to fight for the emperor and die. We would like the most difficult, we would like the most difficult assignments in the universe. We wish to die for the emperor and bleed for the emperor to atone for the sins of our fathers and their fathers' fathers. Our sons will die for the emperor. Their grandsons will die for the emperor. We are the Krieg. And it's like, oh shit, for real? We thought y'all had like quit.
It's like, care. Negotiate from a position of power, guys. Like,
no, nobody cared. They were like, all right, well, I guess we'll send us like a couple, and we'll see what you can do. And they want to die. They want to die to atone for the sins of their ancestors against the emperor. And it's they're a super hardcore lot because they live on a planet that's all poisoned. So
and it's nuked.
And they just dress up. Basically, imagine World War I, like gas mask soldiers. That's what they are. They're those guys. They always wear the gas mask and the hat, and they notoriously fight. They're known to fight with shovels and stuff. And it's funny, whenever you see them like painted or illustrated, they're never running from the enemy. They're always attacking, no matter what the enemy is. Mm-hmm. And some of the enemies in Warhammer 40K, like a human being doesn't really compare, like an ant to this thing. Like there are things as big as a building. There's like animals and monsters like they're like demons even that aren't even physical. They're just energy beings that want your soul. But you look but the Krieg guys are always like, like running in with a shovel against like a human being that's basically a bulldozer or something sometimes. That stuff is always my favorite of the lore. The story about the Krieg or the story about the Siege of Vrax or any of that shit. And most of the stuff that this guy does are shorts, like that like a 10-minute Ogren video though.
I like that kind of content from this world because there's so much to catch up on, like having it kind of prepackaged in pill form is nice.
I heard it described well recently, and I hadn't thought of it this way, but it's that Warhammer 40K is a setting, not a story, and you should kind of think of it that way, and like find little individual tales within the setting, and because if you try to like learn it like you might learn Lord of the Rings or any other like narrative that has a beginning, a middle, and an end, you get lost and in the weeds, and it's silly.
Well, it's a cool world. I mentioned getting like a book about it, and I had a couple people reach out to me with like links and recommendations. So I might actually buy a Warhammer lore book and read through it.
Look, just don't get into the miniatures. Don't drag me into that world. Don't drag me into that world. I've talked too much shit about those miniature people to become one of them, man.
Let's do it. Let's become those guys.
Dude, no.
Think of how much fucking how Lade will get.
Is there Warhammer pussy? There's no way there's Warhammer pussy.
It's probably no better than the fictitious acid pussy in the Warhammer universe or whatever.
I can't get into that. That's where I draw the line.
I'm not interested in the figurines either at all. The figurine kind of setup for a game, not that interesting to me. It's like that's a huge amount of effort for what I imagine like wouldn't give me any more satisfaction than I had in like physically playing Magic. Like I would enjoy that more.
Look, I bet that like if you and your friends were really into it and I was high enough that I wanted to play pretend, that maybe that shit could be fun. But the same way that I bet I've been swayed over the years, my opinions on Dungeons and Dragons, which were of course originally shaped by the like 90s religious crazy people.
It's demonic.
I thought it was demonic. Everybody did. I mean, what the fuck? I'm just like, shit, it's Dungeons and Dragons sounds like it's devil worship to me.
Yeah.
but like now that I know what it is, it does sound kind of interesting. I'll admit though, when I see people dressing up and shit, like, god damn, let's get a video game character, guys. Like we don't have to debase ourselves to this level. We can just dress up a character in a video game, and then we can still pretend like we're at least a little cool. I mean,
I can see the dressing up thing. I've been to Renaissance fairs on multiple occasions, and the people all dressed up look like they're having a bunch of fun. I've never dressed up because I don't have any outfits to wear that would be on theme, but it does look fun.
Speaking of Warhammer, they ended the beta. Stop. Mitty and I were grinding last night. We've got our fucking like music just dun, 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 and just swiping and killing, and then that was it. They cut us off. They said we'd had enough and we had to go home.
So, mid-game like that, it just stopped?
No, we got to finish our last one, but 11 a.m. tomorrow is when the grind begins again. So they gave us a day off, I guess. There are some major in-game features that will not be present during launch, and it's a little lame. It's a lot lame. And
like what?
Yeah, help me with that.
The weapon customization will not be fully live on launch, which is like tomorrow at 11 a.m. So right now...
You can't expect that, Kyle, when they only run 2 years late.
Yeah, they're only like a year late. It's pretty frustrating.
And they seem to have like twos of maps to choose from.
See, the map thing I don't mind, and I so there's
maps are there?
So few.
They look the same to me. Like
there's no uniqueness.
Well, they're all
the
same
color
city.
palette.
But like Taylor said, the color palette and seemingly like the artwork, the in-game models is what I'm looking for. Like I can give you two maps, but if I use the same buildings and cars in Call of Duty, then it's going to look the same. That's my impression of their maps.
Yeah. And it's like this fantasy incredible world. Like there can't be a map in a jungle somewhere. Like
no, absolutely
like
not. That. Well, no. The whole thing. So the launch game is inside the Hive City. There's one map that's outside. It's in a desert exterior environment. And the rest of them are all dank, dark interiors, and that's what you're going to get. It's called Dark Tide. And it's Warhammer 40K, which is also referred to as the Grim Darkness.
It's called Dark Tide. I won't be satisfied until there's a water mission.
There's a water mission. There's a mission where you go restore the water because it's been poisoned. So, but for us, like Vermintide grinders, we're like, I'd be okay if there were only one map because my job to a map is to grind that map over and over and over until I can play it on the hardest difficulty that I like to play, which for me would be probably 4. And I can do that with my when I go, as Wings would say, when I go stack my team up, then we beat level 4s consistently, and we haven't tried level 5 yet.
Let me ask you this: if you wanted to rank up fast, right?
Yeah.
Your goal is just to fucking rank your character up. My idea was to go to quick play, join games that were nearly over, and just, there it is. 5 minutes later, I've completed the level.
In practice, it doesn't go down like that. I had the same thought. I was like, yeah, I just want to get in real quick because I would need like 1,000 more gold or 1,000 more XP to like get to a monumental thing. It's like, hey, maybe I could just get in one of these quick games and they're almost done. Never happened. Never once. Because when games begin, they have holes in them and bots are filling in. And when games are going downhill fast, they have holes in them. Otherwise, not really. There are very few games where things are going well. We're in the late stages that someone's like, you know what? I don't want the XP and the gold and the crafting mats. I'm going to leave 2 minutes before this is over. It's just so rare that it's never happened to me.
It happened to me in Vermintide. I join a game and it's late. It's late. They're like 150 yards from the very end. And I join in and I'm like, all right, guys, like, this is my first time on level 5. I'm going to do my best to keep up with you. And he's like, well, it's your lucky day. We're like 150 yards from the end. We have every grimoire, everything. Like they have like maxed out every possible benefit you could get from this map. And I just walk to the end, maybe slash one rat.
And they got a shit ton of XP.
Emperor's chests and XP all dropped on my head. I was like, that's how I'm going to rank up.
Yeah.
You need a join session off that guy over and over and over.
Yeah, it just won't work for this game because it's so populated. There's so many people trying to play and so into it and everything. I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow, but it is disappointing that they're so far behind. In essence, what they're
going to be there
who knows
for the game? Oh, they haven't even talked about it.
That
would be an unreal oversight. Unreal.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if there's no scoreboard on launch. I really hope there is. I doubt it's going to show you kills.
How hard could that be?
I'd be surprised if it shows everyone kills. I'd be shocked if it shows everyone kills, and I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't even show you how many kills you get. We'll see what they do.
I
it's
wonder.
Frustrating.
It sucks. Is it the fact that it's an incomplete game, or did they make a design decision to say, you know what, people were not playing as a team; they were playing for their own scorecard? And
that's toxicity. They specifically said that it's all about trying to deal with toxicity in the community, which was never an issue for all of us who play with our friends. And like, I don't play with randoms. Like, the idea of playing with randoms is crazy because it's a game where we're so integrally connected, and I need you and you need me, and you can't run off. You got to be right here because if a dog jumps on me, you got to hit it so that I can get up and keep fighting. Exactly. If I go down, we all die.
We're like, hey. There are specials that cause us big problems from 100 yards away. Kyle, your character is good at dealing with that. Stop. Let me slay these masses of easy characters. My character is good at that. We need you to stop the specials. And a scorecard might incentivize you to attack the masses because that's how you rack up a score.
Yeah, if I wish they would have like a kill board for like armored carapace enemies, which are their own thing. Honestly, you need a guy with armor piercing to kill them quick and fast, and you need another guy who's killing the hordes really quick and fast. And those are two different weapons more usually, but you really need that special guy. So I'd like to see who got the most specials for sure, who got the most armored carapace monsters and shit, and who got the most fucking kills. Because
I mean, Vermintide had
we got to kill them all.
Like,
of course,
in that post screen, Vermintide would say like,
the green circle, 13
specials killed by Kyle, and it's like, oh, see, Kyle did his job with his character. He was taking out the specials. Oh, look, Woody, 300, 300 kills. He was out in the middle with his paladin, slaughtering the rats, tanking damage. Like,
it had a pretty good. I would always pick out like the one stat I did well in, and it's like, melee hits with a gun to the knee is really the measure of a player.
Wow, look at me, I have the best ping.
That was a good line. That's what I was going for, but you delivered it. All right.
A wonderful game came out today. Beta came out today for Dark Tide, which is the game I'm.
Have you played
all into? Oh yeah, I played all day today.
Nice.
Did they add more stuff?
Yeah, they opened up a bunch more stuff. Dark Tide is a Warhammer 40K universe cooperative game where you smash and slash and shoot and like huge hordes of enemies. And the pre-order beta is live right now, and it will be for like the next week or two or something like that. And they're going to slowly like open it up. Like
shoot a lot. Would you call it a gun game? Okay.
So it depends on the character.
Yeah.
The character that I would recommend to you is like the guardsman. He's like the closest thing to a first-person shooter like guy there is. He can spam grenades. He shoots a lot. He gets headshot multipliers. You're going to have to get your sword out a lot though and defend yourself because it's 50-50. You can just be more like 70-30. If that makes sense, but 30% of the time you're
the
smashing
tank character seems like he's going to be using his gun a minority of the time.
So there is a character called an Ogren. This is a human who grew up on a giant Earth, right? A planet with heavy gravity. So he weighs like 2,000 pounds. He's like 4 times taller than a normal man. They're incredibly huge. They have the intelligence of about a 2-year-old child, though. The smartest Ogren ever could count to 4 and spell his own name, and his name was short. So his name's Bob.
I assume this is all like voice and dialogue. You learned this is in game, like as they snip at each other.
So you look at this guy and you think tank. Well, I look at him and I see, oh yeah, he's got like 30% more health than we do, something like that, roughly 25% more, 50% more, whatever it is. But he's also 4 times bigger, and like literally bigger. And the enemies are shooting.
Yeah.
So he's not as much of a tank as you might think because he's so goddamn big. You kind of have to build that class to utilize toughness, which is like your shield in that game. But he is really funny. He has silly voice lines. He's like, "Oh, Ogren smash!" Like this is just dumb shit. And
yeah, I've lost more blood than this.
His special attack, like my special attack, I spin the blade and do a little uppercut flick with it, kind of slick. His special attack is a pimp slap because he's so goddamn big that a pimp slap kills a man. he just goes whack, and blood and gore fly as he like slings this guy against the wall. So I'm gonna be playing a ton more.
Dude,
tonight.
2 weeks, less than 2 weeks until it comes out for real. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean you can play tonight if you wanted to. Pre-order that bitch and then cancel the pre-order if you want to. I mean, pre-order it and get in there and play. We're playing. I'm playing all night. It's been a ton of fun.
All night.
Playing all night. And I got my coffee ready to go.
Are you still playing the same character?
So the characters from the previous beta, I'll call it the alpha, the pre-beta, whatever. That's all gone away. However, the intention is that whatever is done in the current beta that we're in right now will carry over to the main game, barring any like complications that might arise, like maybe that breaks the game and they have to erase it. But the plan is to let it carry over. I know what character I want to play. I'm going to do the Zealot. I've watched a lot of videos. I've done a lot of research. That's my lady. She's super hardcore. I already made my character. Spent a lot of time picking out her tattoos and facial scars. We can doing her hair just right, doing her backstory, figuring out like what brought her to this place. So
you do pick a
ready.
backstory, which I do, which is interesting.
I followed a false prophet. I was misled.
Does it change anything? The backstory?
I think it changes your voice lines and like how you communicate with your teammates. But like you pick like, oh, I'll be Ogren or whatever, and I didn't care because it was the alpha, and so I picked the tank character, and then it was like, what planet are you from? And like you pick like among those and like the little descriptions there of like a desolate wasteland where only the hardest are forged into true Ogren, and then other ones where it's like it's not too bad, and like and then it changes how he is.
So word on the street on the internet is that a very small group of the developers were unhappy with the way with the game's direction. Initially, they felt that they weren't represented by the characters. And so they said that about 30% of dev time and effort they're going forward was spent on this create a character shit. So that everybody can have a character that represents them.
Who cares? They're like goblins in space.
Again, this is a rumor. Again, this is my rumor from the internet. But
how am I going to empathize with this online demon man if he doesn't also have too big of a head?
He needs to look like me.
He has to look like me.
It's one of the nice thing though, because that does annoy me a little. They said that this anonymous person who's a friend that works there claimed that like a lot of content got cut, like maps and characters and stuff, because they spent so much time on this creative character stuff that frankly I didn't care about. The predecessor game Vermintide 2, it's like 4 guys and 3 guys and a girl or whatever who are going on an adventure, and like they have names and them and they have personalities.
You can like change their shirt and that's about it.
The same voice actor is in this one. The character I picked, you can have 3 different voice actresses So
Man,
really,
those are some
all
bad
of
priorities.
I
This
like
game was supposed to come out like 8 months ago, right? And they were futzing around with create a class. Like that's
I don't know
create a character.
I don't know if that's what took them
What
so
a
long, but
stupid
I
way
kind
to
of wish
waste
they had.
time.
Here's what's really irking me right now. There's still no goddamn leaderboard. We still don't know who got the most kills. It makes me like not want to try at times. I'm like, they got it. Like, why would I come over there and help you with your shit? Like, I think you'll be okay. I'll pick you up if you go down. Like,
I don't want to play with you until they get those scores up.
Why? Like now, nobody
joking
knows
that you let me die.
I was playing earlier, and I'm like, I think I carried the fuck out of this game, but I have no idea. And the worst part is, I bet they don't know they got carried, and they think they're good. They're not going to go practice now.
It's like taxes in real life.
You should know that you stink so that you go practice. Like when I first started, I stunk, and I watched hours of video, and I practiced, and I learned combinations until I was good enough to like beat the harder difficulties, and I actually got better. But we have no idea who's good or bad because there's no goddamn leaderboards. You just kind of have to, I don't know, keep count as you go. What do you do?
You always min-max games. Like, is that what it's called, min-maxing? Where like when you got into like Age of Mythology with me like a few years ago, you immediately, like the way I always would like play those games was like trying to figure it out. Like over time, like, oh, I guess I did too much in food. Oh, I didn't collect enough stone or gold or whatever. You would like be like, yeah, I watched a video, exactly this many villagers on this, and at this time do this, and if it gets to 7 minutes and I don't have this, I quit and restart. And like you like train yourself at those games to get good.
Yeah, because I'm not exactly talented as far as like moving buttons around, but I've got a lot of work ethic when it comes to getting good at something. So I'll always outwork my my opposition when it comes to that. That's how I play Rust. Like when Mitty and I play duos of Rust, we're probably among the bottom 20% in skill in the lobby, but we'll be in the top 80 or 90% as far as like territory gained, like fights won, all that, like any metric that you could like measure, because we're on day one, we work a 28-hour day. We don't stop. We go into the next day, and then we sleep for as little as we can stand, like 5 hours, 6 hours, and then we do another 14-hour day. And we have already put a day on the competition by doing that. So by day 3, we're ready to like fuck shit up. And they're way behind. So like we just outwork the competition in a game that's supposed to be about gunfights.
Right.
We just went and fucking hit trees for hours on end, motherfucker. We're coming for you. Yeah, I like grinding games like that. I'm gonna grind this game. This is a game that'll take hours and hours of grinding to get better weapons. It's also a game that has a lot of weapons. They've unlocked a lot more weapons than were previously available. So I don't know. I want that giant magical hammer thing.
That like character like upgrade where like as you level up you can be like, oh, I want more damage resistance or whatever. That's way more robust than it was in the previous Vermintide. Like you have a lot more options seemingly for like all of your eventual upgrades and way more combinations of it is what I noticed. Because like if you go back to regular Vermintide, there's not a ton.
You have 3 selections for 5 skills. You unlock them at 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25 and 30, those levels. You're able to synergize those together, those perks, I'll call them, if you're familiar with like COD, to like synergize maybe a character who's just really tough, or maybe a character who's really fast, or maybe a character who's whatever you want to do. Sure. And there's a lot of different ways you can play the game. So yeah, I'm real excited about it. Anybody wants to play it, pre-order the fucking game, play the beta, and then just cancel pre-order if you don't want to play it.
I'm gonna pre-order it. I'm gonna do that after this.
I'm gonna get it.
No, because we're all gonna play it. It's
this rocks. Is the game that I've been waiting for to re-enter into gaming.
Wheel for my for whatever, right? I was gonna hook it up to my Xbox, but for some reason the games won't recognize it.
Oh, so the driving wheel. This is a racing controller.
Yeah, the Logitech one. I got the cheap one, but there's like $1,000 one. It's like fuck for the wheel. The wheel's $1,000. I think I got like a $200 wheel.
Do you have pedals?
Yeah, I've got pedals and this wheel.
That looks pretty good. No, how much was it?
How does it?
$200.
Okay.
I think that's the older model. I think there's a new one that's like $350. It's the 920 versus the 923 from Logitech. But I think they make $1,000 one too. In any case,
so much money for a wheel.
I do not want a whole setup. I've never used a wheel in any game whatsoever. So I don't know. I thought it'd be fun. And that Xbox has, I got the Game Pass thing. You pay like $15 a month, and you basically get access to 10,000 games or something.
Okay.
And at first, I thought it was going to be all arcade games because I haven't had an Xbox in so long. But it's like every game you've ever played is on there, like all the Xbox 360 games. So Dead Space is free to play, and you can cloud play, so you don't have to download everything. But
you and your attachment to Dead Space is fun.
Love Dead Space. It's one of the best games of all time.
I love Left 4 Dead, but imagine me bringing it up every week. Oh, guys, you're not going to believe this. They have Left 4 Dead.
I'm sure they do.
We did a run.
Well, maybe not. It's PC, right?
What was it?
Oh, it's Xbox also.
Not Dead by Daylight. What was it? Shit. Now it's going to drive me nuts if I don't look it up.
What kind of game is it?
Trying to remember what game
is it where you're running from the killers? Because that's Dead.
No, it was Left 4 Dead. There we go. We did a run through of Left 4 Dead 2 on Twitch, and I discovered that I am very bad at zombie shooter games. Like, I am terrible at them.
I signed up for the Warhammer 40,000 beta. Did I get the name right?
Yeah.
40K.
40K. Yeah.
40K. Okay. And I'm a little bit nervous. I'm worried. Like, dude, I could really suck at this a lot.
Is it a strategy or a shooter?
It's like Left 4 Dead.
Got it.
But they're probably a little more sophisticated in that the players are not all the same, right? So, like, if you're a dwarf, this is how you play. If you're something else, this is how... Well, it won't be the same characters, but work with me, right? If you're the tank, you do this. If you're the nimble guy, you do that. And Kyle talked about it on the show, how, like, it kind of... Who he plays with isn't random. Like he likes to play with good players. Like, is Timmy coming along today? Well, I guess we won't be playing on champion level because Timmy's here. We're gonna play on hero level instead, and none of us are gonna get good loot. Not those of us who need top tier loot anyway. So
it won't matter. I doubt that. It won't matter because
who believes that? Who listening to this show believes it doesn't matter to Kyle?
So because I've got friends that are like of different like skill levels, and you may be better than all of us, Woody. I'm not saying it's not a foregone conclusion that I'm going to be like better than you at this game or anything, but I will play it probably more, so that might get me there. But in any case, I play with people that are really good sometimes, and we try to like put everything on the hardest difficulty and max everything out. But then, like, if somebody else wants to play, I'm like, oh yeah, we'll play some easy ones. I don't mind. Like, now I can kind of like relax because it's a little stressful if you spend 3 or 4 hours like trying so hard. It's kind of nice to like relax and just shit on the game on easy.
For people who don't know this game mechanic at all, it goes like this: at the end of the game, you get rewarded with better like amulets, which power you up in little ways, and better swords and shields and shit like that. You can imagine the rewards you get are contingent on how hard the level you just played was. If you're a shitty character, then those rewards are worth something to you, even if you played at a low level. Yep. But if you're that good player, and I'm not, then you're wasting your time. There's nothing that at the end of this game for you. There will be for me because you drive my ass through it. But for you, it was an act of public service. and there's only so much of that you want to do. That's how the game mechanic works.
I've never minded it. Because it is stressful to play on the harder difficulties. And, everybody, when we do that, everybody's kind of accountable. Like if you let the team down, like we don't take it super seriously. I don't make it sound like super sweaty, but like we're trying to fucking win. And if somebody's letting us down, it's like, all right, well, next time, maybe not that guy.
We're running into this problem with the game.
But if the next time we play on hard, like if everybody wants to play on hard and like oftentimes it's because their character just isn't ranked up high enough to play on hard, right? And I don't mind. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'll use the character I don't normally use. This will be a fun little mix up of things. But hopefully we get into that beta. I know Taylor applied to, and it won't matter there. They'll probably lock us all at like normal difficulty. And there's a bunch of content for the game out now. I don't know if you've watched any of the videos. There's lots of gameplay. There's lots of like these little features for each of the characters. There are different characters, and they do have differences about them. But you're able to really RPG-esque your character up, and like he might be the big ogre, but I bet you could make him faster if you wanted. You know what I mean? Like you could shift him that way if that was
you tell me
how you
that
wanted to play.
You can have two of the same character in the game this time around? Is that confirmed?
Two of the. Oh, I did not tell you that. That would be news to me. I think they really like the motley crew idea of the big guy and the little girl, and like one of there's like a little Asian girl with a hammer, and then there's a big ogre with like a knife and a grenade launcher. So I don't know all the details. I haven't watched a ton of the content, maybe an hour's worth, but just, it looks good to me, and it's that nice mix of melee and guns. So
we'll see how it goes.
November 30th, worst case scenario, right? I think that's when it comes out. So
it's not too far.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, that's what all the game companies are like. The game's going to come out this date, and then they postpone it by 6 months. Like,
this has been rolled back over a year and a half. So I'm probably going to stream some of it. I'm not sure. I may buy a new PC with the intention of streaming some Dark Tide.
You might need to order it soon if that's your intent.
I don't think I'll get the 40 series. I could probably get a 3080 Ti for a steal right now, and that thing is so powerful. Like the 40 series cards are so big, and they are coming in so far below what they said they would. As far as the performance numbers, they were like, oh yeah, double your performance, and it's like, actually,
they always say that. It's like 3 times performance, and then reality is like 1.5 times performance. It seems like that's
Comcast
common.
sells you gig speed internet, and you get 300 megabytes per second.
That GPU is this fucking big. It's like a sub sandwich. It's like a foot long. That thing is so thick and so wide. I've seen. I saw those memes of it where they mount the motherboard to the GPU rather than the GPU to the motherboard because it's way bigger than a motherboard. That thing looks ridiculous.
I have the 3080 standard, and I think I'm fine on that for a while.
Yeah,
as opposed to TI.
Yeah, I think I have a 2080 Ti, but I'm honestly not sure. I don't remember. But
do you guys do any like survival games?
Yeah.
Did you play The Forest?
Love The Forest. Looking forward to the sequel. It comes out.
That's the one that's been.
I think February.
Yeah, they pushed it back to February now. But it was supposed to come out like earlier this year, and then it was pushed to October, and now they're pushing it. I'm like, kill me.
I got a big party of guys together and played through The Forest together, like maybe 6 of us, I think. And we didn't do a bunch of base building. I don't think that was in the game yet at the time. But we did the main story, spelunking down the caves, getting all the gear, and then saving the kid. And I fell in love with that game. I really liked how scary it was. What's that?
Saving the kid?
Yeah. Yeah. And we saved him, got him out of there. I think back at the hotel when we got him back home, he like mutated or something, but I saved him.
I was gonna say we had an experience.
There's 2 different endings. But the sequel looks like a much better game. It looks like a full-fledged game, whereas the first one of those examples of a game that they developed, not quite done, and then never really finished it up with as much polish as you would like.
There were a ton of those from like 2016 through 2020 that came out that like got to their beta stage and then died. Which sucked, but I had a lot of fun with The Forest. I'm hoping the next one is everything it's cracked up to be. I'm excited for guns. Because that was...
Yeah, I always was envious of the elf's range weapon. I get other characters kind of had a... For people who don't know this game, if you built your elf the right way, she had rapid fire bows and unlimited ammo. And then imagine you as like a dude with a sword whose superpower was like lunging, and and it's like it's really hard to sort of get engaged, take out the mobs, be competitive when one person has basically a machine gun is going right? And you're like, wait, I want some too. And
what do you have to use your lunge skill? Like,
you're about 80%
tricky because you put yourself in the middle of trouble. It is useful for getting out of trouble if you're smart. You don't use it up in advance, but you lunge into a crowd of problems, and then good luck after that. So
part of it was also that we had put so much time into it, and you hadn't, and so like
I had a level 30 guy.
Oh, well,
we were all over 30.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's a way to build the character so it has more range to compete with the elf. Because, I mean, I played the elf a couple different ways. Like sometimes I would play it so it was that assassination melee character who was just running around with daggers, stabbing everything in the back, getting that like 12 times multiplier. And then sometimes I would be the machine gun elf because that's just so much fun. You're just
when there's a machine gun elf on your team though, You're a spectator in this.
I broke 1,000 kills many times.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was
like,
what was annoying.
on a
playing
game
with
like that,
Kyle.
I would have like a 30.
You'd have 150.
More than that. Maybe it's 150. But
You're not
it's
supposed to
so
break
far.
1,000 though in that game.
There were times where like my guy with his flail, the flagellant or whatever, the vagrant, whatever his name was, his like thing.
I don't think that's what that word means.
It was basically
Flagellant.
like the flagellant, FLAGGENT, right?
No,
Someone
my
who's
version.
flagellating themselves.
Yeah, that's what that word means.
And that's what this character was. He had like he was a guy who like hurt himself, and like
flagellating
my
others.
guy's whole thing was like, oh, he uses his ability, and then he doesn't really take damage, but he gains life from killing people. And I'd be like trying to get close, and I'd pop my guy's ability, and I'd like get close to start earning health back, and then just from behind me, just arrow, and I'm like, oh, no, I need to hit someone. Like, it's like, God damn it!
When I play that game, I try so hard. That's the game that makes me not blink so much that I had to get those special eye drops because I'm just trying so hard to kill as many fucking rats as I can.
That's such a fun game.
I'm looking forward to the new one, man. I can't wait to. It's not rats this time, which is a little bit of a bummer. I really liked that it was rat centric, and you had just a different kind of rat for every thing in the army. So the leader is a rat general, and the foot soldier is this little pinky rat, and then there's a rat ogre, and there's a rat abomination, and it's great. Everything's a rat.
It's very, very cool.
They added the goat men later on. I enjoy that a lot too. Yeah, the goat men are fun with chaos.
God,
I
the
like
number
all
of
that lore.
times that I get questions about the goat man on TikTok.
Who's
the
I have to
goat man?
I have to explain to people that is not actually part of anybody's, like, any culture's folklore.
Do pacemakers usually?
I thought that was a little space marine behind you. Is that a salamander or something?
This is all Warhammer books. That's all this is.
Oh, you got to
on the
talk
shelves.
to Kyle about that. I mean,
Yeah.
are you playing Warhammer 40K, the new game, the
Darktide?
top-down RTS, Total War Warhammer?
No. I haven't played a video game since the Johnny Depp trial. Outside of I spent like an hour, like 2 days between then and now playing. I just have not had time. I liked Total War 1 and 2. I never bought 3 because they didn't come out with the stupid, crazy special editions that they had for 1 and 2. They're like $200, and they came with all this shit, like a dwarven drinking horn and a brood ring where it has like a D6 dice around the ring that you can spin and shit.
That's cool.
But they didn't do that for number 3, so I never got around to buying it. And since I haven't played it, I haven't bought it. But I did pre-order Rogue Trader, which was made by the guys who did Pathfinder Kingmaker, and it's a top-down RPG, like party-based RPG, like a D&D game, but it's under the Rogue Trader rules, and that looks really fucking cool. So I'm looking forward to that shit.
Yeah, I've gotten super into 40K in maybe the last couple of years, but I'm a big fan of Darktide. I liked Vermintide before it. I'm not happy with the current state of Darktide. I'll go back to it when they have improved it some. But we've been talking about playing some RTS, and that Warhammer is really good.
Total War is great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've played a ton of that. The second one, I don't know, 1,000. I game a lot, so like when I say a ton, I mean like 1,000 hours or more.
Oh shit.
And but I like that game, and I love the 40K stuff. I'm excited to see Henry Cavill take that on. I'm going to trust Amazon not to do a good job and maybe just let him do his thing. It's going to be cool to see because The Last of Us is killing it right now. Woody doesn't like it because he felt like it was too slow. You didn't enjoy the emotional character more than development.
The previous one. Two episodes ago was not that good, but the last one, I liked it. And they definitely moved the plot along. So good.
Yeah, I like that they only spent 2 episodes in the city, and moved on. But yeah, I'm hoping that Amazon is able to one up HBO and do 40K justice, or at least do some small part of 40K justice. Taylor, did you finish reading the book?
I finished Krieg.
Which one?
Wonderful. Krieg.
Oh, okay.
I enjoyed it.
I don't think I've read that one.
Now that
it's interesting, it shows it gives you simultaneously it tells the complete history of the Krieg, why they are what they are, and how they got that way, while telling a current tale of how they were influencing a war on a planet. So it's pretty strong, and it's not that thick.
And I think that guy wrote I don't remember the guy's name who wrote it.
He's written a lot.
Steve Lyons. Steve Lyons. That's who it is. He's written a ton of that stuff.
Lyons with a Y, I think. Yeah.
Lyons with a Y.
Yeah, he's got a Y. The big hope I have for the Amazon series is, I believe the rumor mill is that they're doing Eisenhorn. Which
I don't know that.
Oh, dude, that's where I started my 40K journey, like actually getting into it. It was damn near 10 years ago, I guess. I was working and I would just walk to Barnes and Noble on my lunch breaks through the Skyways in Minneapolis. And I just went to the sci-fi section, picked up the book with like the hardest looking motherfucker on the cover. And it's Gregor Eisenhorn. And he's an Inquisitor. And it's a 3-part book series written by Dan Abnett. And there's now, so then there's a spin-off series of Gideon Ravenor, who was like his apprentice. And then there's another series that follows. So now their total series of Eisenhorn is like 12 books. And they're all just bangers. Abnett's like a really intense writer. He writes, he wrote a lot of one of the good runs of Iron Man. He wrote. And he's great.
I got introduced to it through YouTube initially. I had never heard of the universe before. If I had, I didn't understand what I was like seeing.
Yeah.
And I was then and still am really drawn to the broader timeline, well, the complete timeline, like the prehistory. 30K is more interesting to me than 40K. And you know what, I'm always like, yeah, but what's happening right now? Like right now, and like what's the new thing going on the cutting edge is what I always want, because I want big changes. Like I want the Emperor to like do a thing.
Well, you know, that's happening right now. They're writing those books because Gilliman is back.
Yes.
And that's the new thing. And the speculation is that the Lion is coming back, because I think that's one of the books coming out. So like the Lion is going to come back because he's been sleeping, and that's the big fucking change. Angron just came back because he was banished by what's his face, Khaldor Drago, who's fucking hilarious, by the way. But yeah, Angron just came back, and so now there's and apparently is not going to be able to be banished again to the warp. So it's going to be just a disaster.
Yeah, see, I like that stuff. I like the broader timeline, and like I'm really fascinated with the Emperor and like the Thunder Warriors and like and all of that stuff, and like the deep lore. I really enjoy it, and there's so many good YouTubers that just do a fantastic job with their voice work. That there's a series about the Ogren that I love so much that made me fucking cry. Oh my god,
that's a really good one. We have to get back to that, or you have to get back to that guy about us doing voice acting in one of those episodes. I would love to.
Yeah, Zach, send me his email again. There's a YouTuber who wanted us to do some voice work for him. And
who is it? Do you know?
It's the one who did the Ogren story, right? It might be
the one that had the old Ogren story.
Yeah, like he himself is an amazing voice actor.
That part where he's like,
"Mama told me someone's being bullied. It's an Ogren's job to stop them."
Yep,
and that's true because Mama can't lie.
And it's like
he had this Forrest Gump thing where he kept saying, "And Mama don't lie."